Hey, good morning, trainers for Edmodo. We certainly appreciate you stepping up to the plate and being able to assist our elementary staff this upcoming Monday for our PD training. It's Coach Ma here. First thing I want to do is, if you can see my screen here, just kind of go through you with those expectations are for the teachers and kind of show you some things we've got set up for you to assist in the training on Monday. Remember, I'll be in one of the training rooms as well, so if you have any questions, come grab me, come ask me any hiccups there, and we'll try to get through it together on that. Just going, I got two screens going here, so I apologize. I'm just looking here. Okay. Leanne sent us a copy of the Edmodo Training manual. And basically that manual, a few elementary teachers, you have that one-to-one resource binder. And so as you work with these teachers today, and you elementary teachers also realize that all of these staff members at the elementary sites have been given a resource binder. And in there is a variety of sections for the different pillars we have and technology tools we're using. And one of those sections is Edmodo. And we have those Edmodo cards in there. And so the file that you got from Leanne a couple days ago, the Edmodo training packet, is basically those cards themselves. And then I've gone ahead and I've stuck the Edmodo Expectation Level 1 sheet and the Expectation Level 2 sheet at the front of that training packet. And so that training packet has a table of contents there. You can go through that. And so just, you will want the teachers to have that as a resource out while you're teaching them, or at least let them know that that's available for further questions as they progress through their Edmodo training, certainly after today when you're not there to assist them in a training session. So to start off with, the big picture is this, is we have a lot of teachers in the district who have heard of Edmodo, and I don't know if I say a lot, maybe we'll go back, let's retract that. Some teachers have heard of Edmodo in the elementary schools. Remember, you have your cohort teachers there, and cohort 1 and 2, they've gone through this program, and many of them are trainers today. And so they've probably heard from their colleagues about Edmodo. So the very first thing is what I'd like you to do is to, if you can open up or have a copy of that Edmodo Expectation Level 1 in front as we talk here in a minute through this video, then that'll help you follow along as well. So go open that up, pause me if you need to, and grab that Edmodo Expectation Level 1 sheet out so we can go through these steps and you can see what we're trying to progress through. Okay, so in Edmodo, you're gonna have to create the picture of what Edmodo really is, and of course you can liken it to Facebook. It's kind of the educational side of like social media, but it's a controlled environment. Nobody can get into Edmodo, into your classroom, unless you give them that code, and so it's really protected for the students and protects you, so you don't have those outside people there prying, or those sexual predators. You hate to go that far extreme, but there are people out there like that, or just people that want to be obnoxious and come into your group. So paint the picture to the teachers that it's like Facebook. It's an easy correlation for most of the teachers that are using technology in their lives. Others aren't. Another example, you can say it's like a learning management system for your classroom. You can make assignments, you can control who sees those assignments, you can see when they've been turned in, you can add comments. So I'm really relying on you guys to kind of paint the picture of what Edmodo is. What I'll do is I'll also send a video out, and I'll attach it in this folder I'll show you in a minute, so you can actually play the video if you want, and simply that can be your introduction to Edmodo when your training starts. So in the Edmodo Expectation Level 1 packet, first thing it says Edmodo Account. And so we want these teachers to set up their account. So you can see I'm logged into Edmodo right now. And if I was to log out, apologize here. Actually, we're just going to do this. And you can have a number of teachers that don't have their accounts at all. And so when they sign up, you're going to see this page here. Remind teachers that, just as an FYI, all Edmodo traffic is directed to our Carson domain. And so it doesn't matter whether they type Edmodo up top in that URL, it'll automatically redirect them to the carson.edmodo.com. So there's where they can type it. Also, as a quick reminder, on our Carson City web page, so if I go back to home here, all the student laptops default to this page when they turn on to Chrome. And you Chromebook users from Seeliger, it's also the page that that opens up when teachers launch the Chrome browser. And so just know that we're trying to help you guys out as elementary teachers, that is the browser that'll open up. And we have the hot button to Edmodo. And so they can simply just turn on their laptop, go into Chrome, and then there's their Edmodo hot button. And we have other our main 4 pillar applications here, plus others as hot buttons on this page. If you don't know how to get to this page, it is under our Carson City School District main website. So here's our main website at carsoncityschools.com. And obviously we're talking about students, so under the student drop-down menu, your third one is called digital education, and that's going to take you right back to the same page. So just kind of FYI, a little bit of housekeeping and management of Edmodo and how to get to certain sites, and just click on it and away you go. So your biggest step and first step is to make sure all teachers are logged into Edmodo. And so let's go there. So like I said, if teachers do not have an account, we want them now to sign up now as a teacher. We want them to use their school email. This is how we're identifying our teachers, and we're approving them as part of our district. And so you have to make sure they're using their school email when they create an account. So here's a teacher. School code, I'll be giving you those sheets on Monday morning, because each school has an individual code, and you'll get those on Monday morning from me, so you can have the teachers sign up there. It's like a group code for the groups you've created. We have school codes. Please do not, and remind your teachers, do not share that code with the students, because that allows students to come in and be a teacher per se, and then I gotta go through and clean them and delete them out. So school code, I'll give that to you Monday morning. First name, last name, email address. Please use your school email, okay? And then the password. And they can go ahead and set that up, and they can sign up for an account. Okay, so let's get everybody signed up. That's your first step on doing so. And then we want to get them into the groups we've created. So let me take you there. We'll just use this. We can go and sign into Edmodo. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, so when they're in Edmodo's, what we've done is I want them to join two groups. And so if you look at my list here and you want to write these numbers down, I'll also give these to you on Monday morning. The first group we want them to join is Edmodo 1. Okay, that's where our training is going to be held today. So they need to join Edmodo 1, and that group code for Edmodo 1 is Z4ATPB. And you probably need to write that in your board. The second group we want them to join is our Carson City School District one-to-one share group. And so inside this group is where we're going to share videos. We can share resources back and forth, and comment to teachers and kind of help them out that way throughout the whole district. So that code, obviously, you can see it there, is X46QN3. Okay, so two groups we want them to join: CCSD1 District Share, and also the Edmodo 1 group. You can explain to them, this is where I'll send out videos. We send out a PDF for user passwords. We can talk about that later. Any other questions that come out, or videos I make, or questions they have about one-to-one stuff, is certainly that's their resource link to me, or to any of us that are out there who have experience with Edmodo or any other technology issues. We can kind of, it's a resource, and answer questions and share our knowledge and our cool ideas out there. Okay, so let's go back to our training folder. So our training folder is going to be Edmodo 1. So the very first thing we want to do is have teachers join that group. All right, so I just need to go open up my Edmodo training manual over here. Okay. So once you get them signed up into an account, I guess before we join the groups, make sure they go ahead and choose an avatar. Where do they do that? Remember, it's on their settings. We want them to not just be a blue face, so they can go on the internet, they can grab a picture, they get something on their laptop, that's fine. Go ahead and choose their avatar. Verify their email is correct. Title, if they want to put Mr., we should get in the habit of doing that, Mr. Robert Ma. That's one thing I didn't do. Check their time zone. School, if they have the right school code, they can check that, make sure they're right school code. Okay, URLs, I'm not worried about that right now. So that's pretty much for the first one, Edmodo Account. All right, get them signed up for that. Okay, into one-to-one training. So I don't want to make this video too long for you this morning, but I do want to just give you a quick synopsis of what we're doing. So inside the Edmodo 1 group, we've got some small groups. You're going to teach them about small groups a little later on throughout this training process, but this is a good example to look at what I've done here. The teacher's going to have to create their own groups for their classes, and then I want them to create some kind of a small group. Now you can create your small group by levels. You can, for the low, medium, high, or the red, green, and yellow cell kids, you can certainly do something like that. And I also want you to think outside the box that small groups can be created by time frames. And so maybe it's a unit you're doing. Maybe it's a unit 1 and it only lasts for 2 weeks. And you have unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. And then as a kid finishes unit 1, you just move them into the next unit, and you're continuing to progress students through the units in time and not also necessarily by their level. But that's up to the teacher how they want to do that. You can either have a small group, or you can by level, or you can have it by time. And so right now we actually have ours by the third category I classify is by not necessarily time. Well, I guess you can say the K-5 elementary is a time one because we did the middle school earlier, but this is also by a group or by a certain user group we're going to be talking about. Now here's the hang up you have. You have to have everybody to join Edmodo 1, and then we want them to get into the K-5 group. Now remember, you as a teacher and you trainers, what you're going to do is I'm going to have to make you co-teachers of this group once you have joined it, and I'll go through the list and do that. You as a teacher have to put them in this group. So on Monday morning, I'll have my laptop open, and I'm going to have to make sure you guys are co-teachers of this group. So I'll go through the list and do that. And if you're an elementary teacher right now listening to this, I really need you to join that Edmodo 1 group so I can identify you and make you a co-teacher of this group. And what that's going to do is allow you to have people join the K-5 elementary rollout. And so if I was going to the K-5 elementary rollout, you can look at my members right now. Currently, I only have 3 members because they're all co-teachers. And as soon as I make you a co-teacher, you automatically have access to that group. So our job on Monday morning is to add people, all the elementary teachers, into this group. So while they're sitting in your training and you see them join the Edmodo 1 group, as soon as you see them join it, you're going to have one of those trainers in that classroom. You guys have to decide as a group. So I assign one person that to open up their Edmodo, and they look for members. And we want to add members to this small group. Now I could just simply add all members if I wanted, but I'm going to try to keep it clean if I can. But here's, for example, if Katie Larkin just joined, I simply click on her name and she's automatically a member of that group. So it's kind of the frustrating part on Mondays to do that, but that's what we want to get done. So one of the 3 of you in that training room will sit there with your laptop, maybe 2 of you, and as soon as teachers are joining into the Edmodo 1 group, you're sitting here refreshing and looking at it, and then we're going to go ahead through and join them. Or you can actually give them a few minutes, give them like 5 minutes to join that Edmodo 1 group. And then as a class or as a small group, you can demonstrate how you do this, and that's probably the better idea. Demonstrate how you add students to a small group by showing them what you're doing with them. Okay? So that needs to be part of your training on Mondays. So get those members in your classroom into the small group. All right. So once they're in there, is what we've done is I've created some assignments for you. The first one is going to be a poll. Where's my poll? Okay, so there it is. There's my poll. I want them to take a poll. I sent it out to them, and it's going to let you know as a trainer who you have in your classroom. And so they have to answer those questions, and you can see the results. Now, specifically, it's not by the class you're in, so that's kind of overall for all the elementary teachers training that day. So it's just kind of a rough overall picture of the people you're working with. And we have grouped the people by according to their computer ability, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're good at Edmodo. So it just kind of gives you an idea of who you're dealing with when you're teaching that day. There's the training manual. You can talk to the people about that. That's the same one you should be looking at right now, is the training manual, and it's a digital copy, PDF, same as the one they have in their binder. All right. They have 3 assignments today. The first assignment, let's go through that, is kind of where they're going. groups. So they have to answer 4 questions on this one. Once you've gone and talked about groups, you need to demonstrate how the groups work, where the code is, how you can reset the code. So I'm talking about up top here. So there's my small group settings. I can rename it, I can archive it, I can delete it. Difference between those, if you don't know, archive is you can come back to it later and it'll keep all the kids in there. It just kind of hides it. Delete means the whole group is gone and you can use that name again. So in Edmodo 1, remember the group settings, there's their code, they can lock it. Once they lock it, oh, so now guess what's happening? It's going to generate a new code for you, so it's not the one I gave you earlier. Of course, I should have known that before I did it, but anyways. So our new code for Edmodo 1 is JHCYAP, JHCYAP. Inside there, here's where you manage your members, and then you can show them the setting wheel. Here's our group settings, where we can define it. We can default all members to read only. That's something you want to talk about to your staff. Say, you know, digital education, maybe it's a read only for a couple weeks, maybe a month, until the students learn how to post appropriately. Then you can take off default all members to read only, and you can go to moderate all posts and replies. So now they as a teacher have to look at every single thing. But our ultimate goal, especially in the middle school and the high school, is to where we don't moderate all the posts and they're not read-only members unless there's certain situations, and we'll learn those later on. But our ultimate goal is to not have those on. But as elementary teachers, I probably would suggest that you teach them that that's kind of the progression through their digital citizenship, is that they have to go to read-only first, and then the teacher can moderate it. Then finally, they're good to start communicating back and forth, and you certainly don't want to open up that wide open and have to deal with problems because you haven't taught them correctly. So teach them about their groups. Color codes, you can teach them how to code their groups. So I have mine different color coded. My yellows are for training reasons. Blue is, I don't know, some high school stuff. Greens, Carson Middle, and then I have Eagle Valley there as well for red. Lesson plans is something that Mr. Sadler's done. So anyways, you can change those. How do you do that? You simply go over top of it and you click on the color, left click that is, and then you pick whatever color you want it to be and it'll change it. So get them to change the colors if they want. That's up to them. Show them how to lock the groups. Delete a member from the group. Make sure you show them how to do that. Members. Then you simply can come over here and you can click them off. So she would disappear if I clicked on that, and she'd be gone. So you can teach people how to do that. You can certainly set certain kids to read only. Do that. Reset password, you should know that as a teacher. So if I have students, which none of these are students here, these are all teachers. Remember, you cannot, or I don't know if you remember, but you cannot reset a teacher's password. It has to be sent by email. But a student password is you simply click over here once they've joined your class, and there's a little key there. It says reset password, and you simply just do that. Their login name is always going to be the blue, and so if a student has forgotten their login name, all you simply have to do is go click on the class they're a member of, and you can go then to, and I'll give you an example here. We just started this group at the high school. So Jacob Brode, so there he is. That's his, actually there's his login there, Brody702, and that's his student first name, last name. And here's where I can reset his password, change password right there, and then I can get rid of his, or actually reset his password. If a student makes a wrong picture, you just simply hit remove profile picture. So that way their account doesn't disappear. You don't have to punish them by losing all their information. You just get rid of their picture. That's a new feature. It just came out this week on Edmodo. Pretty cool. All right, so let's go back to Edmodo Training 1. So after you've done teaching about groups and how to manage those groups, there's flashcards in their binder for that. Then we want to talk about their communication. And I call this bar up here our communication in Edmodo. You can simply type a note to somebody. You can attach a file from your computer, a link off the internet, something off your library, or you can schedule when it's going to be open. So you can send this message, and I can say it's not going to open until 3 o'clock on Friday. So maybe it's a test or quiz. You don't want it to open until after you're done teaching it. Okay, so go through the different communication methods. Alert is high importance. It pops up on their screen, limited to only 140 characters. Assignment, you can have them practice making assignments. That's, and you can go through that and make assignments. You can show them the assignments I have for them. Quizzes, you can show them the quizzes. There's 5 different types of quizzes, or any combination of such: true, false, multiple choice, matching, fill in the blank, or constructive response. Poll is something I did. Kind of fun to keep the kids in there. Polls to kind of understand who your kids are. Remember, let the teachers know that polls are anonymous. Okay, you cannot get feedback as to who said what. You only get their feelings or their feedback off the questions you've created. So you'd never know who actually said it. So that's kind of the one handicap on the poll, but maybe it's a good thing as well. Health class, you ask those questions. How many of you have gone on a date before you're 14 years old? I don't know, whatever. There's those types of questions are out there. And then snapshot, if you'll let them know that snapshot exists, it's not part of Edmodo 1 training, so I'm not going to stress out about that. Okay, so don't worry about snapshot. If somebody has some questions, they want more information on it, or they want to become familiar with it, then redirect them to myself, and I'll be happy to meet with them, or Tara can, or Leanne, or even you can if you know it and you use it. Snapshot, by the way, is really awesome and powerful, but in our district, we're really trying to put a lot of emphasis on Mastery Connect right now, so I've kind of been laying low on the snapshot stuff, so make sure that, don't inundate them with that. But if you can get them set on those 5 things, those 5 ideas of communication, that'd be great. Library. Okay, so also up top, I'm not going to, progress is really for Edmodo 2, so don't stress about that. Discovers Edmodo 2, but their library is an Edmodo 1 item. Okay, they need to know how to use their library. They can add documents to their library. They can create folders and groups, and so they need to practice uploading stuff to the library. It's one of their assignments in there. Add to library. The biggest thing on library people make mistakes on is they bring in a folder, item, whatever, and this is classic mistake here. We'll just grab something. Okay, so we'll bring in this PD schedule. So what happens is they see that, and then they think they're done, and they exit out of it. Well, remember, make sure you teach them that if they don't hit the Add To button down here, this document actually does not go into the library. So it's only showing you the complete uploaded one. Remember, 100 megabytes max per item, and you can have as many as you want. It's unlimited, so that's kind of cool about Edmodo. Unlimited amount, just the volume or the size of the file has to be maintained under that requirement. Folders, so they need to be able to make folders, and so you can create the folders here. Different folders I have for each class or group, and so if I went back to my home, we're assuming right now at this point in their training the teachers have created their classes, Mrs. Jones's 2nd grade class, whatever. We can certainly do that there, so that we'll pretend this is that class. You can make your folders within that class, and so that's kind of the thinking I want them to do, is you can do it both ways. You can create the folder within the classroom and create them over here, add folders, or you can actually create them through your library. The library method is pretty cool because that teaches the teacher how to share those folders. And so if I go folders here, we can certainly put stuff in devices, label and print pages. So folder options is where I want them to learn how they can share that folder with their classes. So once that folder is shared, the beautiful thing is no matter what they put in there, it automatically goes out to their students. Okay, so make sure they understand how to share those folders. Communities, I'm just looking down at the paper. So the last thing we want them to be able to do is their communities, and so they can go home, and when they actually signed up for their account is where they chose their communities. And so search the community groups, and so these are communities that we've created. We have computer, creative arts, so I got a ton of communities and I always get bogged down. Computer technology, the biggest one in the communities is the support. Okay, so just let them know that my experience with Edmodo is within 12 minutes I always have an answer to any question I throw out there. That's how awesome their support is. So any question, and there's a large library for that and resource. Okay, in support they can do that. So there you go. It's kind of, let's go back to Edmodo, to our training group, and show you the assignments you need to do with them, or they need to do. And so within K5 elementary rollout, one of the assignments, the first one is to look at that. They can practice putting that in their backpack, in their library if you want. The first assignment is the poll. Remember, you can teach them that these are by time sensitive, and so the latest example is up top. First one at the polls, they have an assignment. Where are you? So they have to answer these 4 questions. In a short statement, please answer the following questions. Were you able to create class groups? I want them to share that code, so that's where they're going to get graded on. Not necessarily that I'm going to join that group or that we should, but I just want to see their code and make sure they're doing that. What small groups they create. So they have to create some small groups. What are the small groups based upon? Scale of 1 to 10. What's their ability to join, create, and manage? So that's one question they have to answer. And so one of my thoughts are is you can have them answer that once you are done the group session. And so maybe the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes is about groups. You get everybody done. They create the groups. Then they go answer that question. The next one is about communication. Remember communication bars up top? So once you're done explaining those and going through those examples, the next assignment is communication. So please send a friendly post to all your trainers in the current class. So I'm having them send to multiple people in that one post. So you can teach them that. You can send it more than one person. And then they need to upload a file off their laptop or the internet. They got to put it in the library and then attach it to this assignment. So they're going to attach it here out of their library. And that's what when they turn in, they'll attach it out of the library and they'll send it back to me. And you guys as code teachers, I put you in here, you'll be able to see these assignments as well. And then you can also help grade them and you can see how that's working. The third section, the main part of your training is library backpacks and folders. What's the difference between library and backpack? Basically, library is the teacher, backpack is the student. Make sure you teach them that. And that's where I'm going to grade them. And then they need to go create at least 3 folders in their library, place at least 1 file, picture, or link into each folder, and then share those folders with at least 1 class. And so we're kind of teaching them how to manage their library there. So that's kind of the guts of your training, the gist of it for the day. I imagine an hour and a half should be enough time. You have 3 people in there helping train this. You'll have a lot of questions back and forth. Feel free to share how you use it, how you've heard other people are using it, getting outside the box. In my world right now, there are 3 levels of training as far as Edmodo goes. One is, first level is, can you get them signed in? And that's kind of your basic, your red people. Okay, I can sign in. Your yellow people, when you train these folks, is going to be, okay, I can sign in and I know how to use it. I know how to create folders. I know how to make posts. I know how to do that stuff. But that's not really mastery. Mastery is the third level. And the third level is where you actually start to see teachers implementing Edmodo or these tools into their teaching. And they get past the hump of it's just not something else I got to check off. It's actually a resource I can use. And it's actually saving me time. And when they get to that point, we know that they're kind of green folks, and that's kind of our ultimate goal with you folks as our trainers, is to be able to get them. Obviously, the red one's an easy one. I can get them logged in. Most of our folks reside in that yellow group where they know how to do stuff, but they haven't really thought about that implementation side of it. They don't really understand that, or they haven't explored that they can use it to send a video out and ask a question about a video. They haven't understand they can use it for a warm-up for the day. Edmodo's just sitting there, and the kids come in the classroom, and they jump on Edmodo, and they do their warm-up, and they type it, and they submit it. And that way the kids are doing something active when they come in the classroom. It's not teacher warm-up on the board. So, I think the sky's the limit, and it's really up to your mind and your imagination what you can do with this. But that is your ultimate goal, and I don't know if it'll happen, obviously, on the first time you see these folks, but even yourself as a trainer. If you're really not to that third level where you're actually implementing it and you can see value in it, and it on your list, it's just not another box to check off, but it's a way to save you time, and it's a way to help you manage your students, and it's a way to get outside the 4 walls of your classroom and reach kids in other ways than just brick and mortar like the traditional classroom. So there's your kind of soapbox for the day. I'll be over there with you. 3 things then. On Monday morning, I'll be giving you the school codes and present those to you as trainers, and then also I'll have a paper with the new code for Edmodo 1, because remember I changed that by locking it, and that's a good example of what happens. So remember, we want them to join Edmodo 1, and we also want them to join our CCSD one-to-one district share folder. Group, I should say, and then we can start sending stuff out to them as teachers and the whole district wide. All right, great. I appreciate your time. Any questions, give me a call this weekend. Email me. I'm heading over to California for a volleyball tournament, but my number, text me if you need to, 775-721-3376, or email me. I'll be on my email as well. All right, appreciate your time. Thanks, bye. Okay, it'd be better if I learned how to turn this thing off, huh?